you came on TV, you immediately became, just this nerd on TV and you played up to it straight away, as if you couldn't believe that people would dare to boo you. How did you kind of get it so quickly? Because most people, it takes a long time.
Well, I didn't get it. Vince McMahon came up with the character for me, and he wanted me to be a nerd, milk drinking, don't swear, play by the rules, even though I didn't. But it was a really cool character, and it was easy for me to do because I am kind of a nerd in real life. So I've always been sort of a nerd, but it wasn't that hard for me. It wasn't, I just made it part of me, and I went with it. And everything that Vince wanted me to do or everything he wanted me to say, I just said it. I was learning on the fly, and I was learning quickly, and I was picking it up really quickly.
And in that first year, one of the guys you worked with a lot was The Rock. You worked with him a couple of weeks into your run. You won the title from him. What are your favorite memories of working with The Rock?
Dwayne helped me out a lot. He helped me perfect my craft, especially as a heel. He was such a great baby face, and he sold really well for you. That was his biggest asset, was his selling. And that's how he got the fans behind him. Not only was he a great seller, he was an incredible entertainer. I know a lot of you are big fans of The Rock. I am too. So, The Rock was very special, and I learned a lot from him.
And then you, in 2000, you ended up teaming up with Edge and Christian to form Team ECK.
Team ECK, yeah. Edge, Christian, Kurt.
It seemed like a match made in heaven. Who came up with the idea of you guys to be together, and how easy did you find it to bounce off of each other?
Edge and Christian are so funny. They're just hilarious in real life, and a lot of fun to be around. And I gravitated toward them at the beginning of my career. And we all became best friends, and we hung around with each other. And we traveled together. We did everything together. And since we had such great chemistry, a writer from the WWE named Brian Gewirtz said, let's get this chemistry on TV. Let's mass produce it, not just in real life, but throw it on TV and let these characters mesh really well together. And Edge, Christian, and I had a blast. We had so much fun. We did a lot of funny pre-tapes. It was really, I was having a time of my life, to be honest with you.
And I mean, at Judgment Day 2000, you and Edge and Christian came out in Kentucky and put on fake teeth, cowboy hats, and took the piss out of the South.
Not fake teeth, rotted teeth.
Rotted teeth. I mean, were you, by that point, it seemed like you were in your groove. Were you just up for anything by that point?
Yeah, I was like a little kid in a candy store. Going to TV was so much fun because the writers were coming up with incredible material. This was during the Attitude Era when writing was amazing, and it was a lot more offensive than it is today. But it was a special time in wrestling. I was glad to be part of it. And
then you start working for Vince McMahon, who is a strange man in some ways.
In some ways, yeah.
Did you realize how strange he was straight away, or did that come in time?
I getting to know Vince. He's a very odd character. He has a heart of gold. Okay, for one, he's crazy as hell. He'll do whatever. He'll challenge you in a match, and he's wrestled the best of the best. Vince McMahon has gotten in the ring with just about everybody, and to be able to do that, to say that you're an owner, a CEO of a Fortune 500 company that's worth billions of dollars, and to put your body and your life on the line like that, that's incredible.
How would you, out of 10, rate the Stone Cold Stunner that he took this past year?
Oh, God. You know what? I said that last night. I was at a show last night, and I said that to a fan. You know what he said? But that's how it was before. So what does it matter? Vince f***ed up the first time. He's going to f*** up this time. And he's right. So it came back tenfold. It made sense. Vince f***ed up the spot.
People here might have seen the Dark Side of the Ring episode on the plane ride from hell. People seen that? Now, Kurt wasn't on that, so, we can't ask him too many questions. But booing that he wasn't on the plane ride from hell. But you did have your own plane ride from hell with Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I had an experience with Vince. It was kind of a nightmare, to be honest with you. We were traveling from Asia back home, and Vince rented a charter flight, really nice plane, and it was beautiful. It had white leather upholstery and white carpeting, just beautiful setup. Every seat was first class. It was really comfortable, and Vince was feeling frisky that night. He was down about 2 bottles of wine on his 3rd bottle, and I have to explain to you beforehand what kind of man Vince McMahon is. If Mike Tyson came into a room, he would walk up to Mike Tyson and say, "Hey, throw me your best knockout punch, because I want to feel like it's what it's like to get knocked out by Mike Tyson." Okay? He wants to feel what the best feels like. This is how he is. He always challenges himself. Always. So on this plane ride, he decides he wants to see what it feels like to wrestle an Olympic gold medalist. So I'm laying in my seat, kicked back, my seat's reclined, and Vince keeps having these wrestlers come to me and say, "Hey, Kurt, can I talk to you? I want you to come down to my aisle. I want to have a few words with you." And I would get up and I would walk down, and Vince would jump from behind and jump on me, say, "I got you, you son of a bitch." And we'd be wrestling, and I would reverse him. I'd get him down, and I'd hold him on the ground. I'd say, "Are we good?" He'd say, yeah, we're good. Let me go." So we're doing this for 6 hours. It didn't stop. It really was the plane ride from hell. And at one point in time, we were near the door, and there's a latch. And if you knock the latch down, the door can open. And Vince and I are wrestling. We're bumping into the latch. And the flight attendant says, "Hey, if you guys don't stop this, the pilot said he's going to land the plane right now." And Vince McMahon says, "Tell the pilot to go himself. I'll buy the plane." So you can imagine what that flight was like. And it doesn't end there. We're getting ready to land. And everybody's supposed to be seated in their seatbelts, all tucked away, getting ready for landing. We're landing on the ground. And Chris Jericho's in the seat in front of me. And he looks back and he says, "Look down the aisle, Angle." And I look down the aisle, and Vince McMahon is army crawling down the aisle to jump on me one last time while the plane's landing. Holy shit. It would never end. It was a nightmare.
And I mean, we can't talk to you and not bring up the love triangle with Stephanie and Triple H.
Well, a lot of people ask me what that felt like, to be in that love triangle. It was a little uncomfortable, okay? And there are a lot of reasons for it. She was the boss's daughter. She was Triple H's fiance, future wife. It was a very difficult, it was awkward, but at the same time, it's what the writers came up with, and it's what we were doing. But I have to tell you, that program right there elevated me into the main event level status. And from then on, I never looked back. So it improved my career to a certain degree, to a degree that I couldn't even dream about. I was so happy to be a part of that angle because it was the top storyline on Raw and SmackDown at this particular time. And being a part of that storyline, knowing that all these guys are on, you got The Rock and Stone Cold and Triple H and Undertaker and all these, incredible superstars, and you're the main storyline. That's something big, especially, it was only my 2nd year in WWE. And we were having a blast, but the crazy thing is it ended so abruptly. There was no finish to it. So I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if someone was uncomfortable, maybe a fiance didn't like what was going on or whatever. I'm just saying I don't know why it ended so quickly. It's damn true. But if you notice, I went from that program straight to beating The Rock for the World Heavyweight Championship. So there was no ending to it. And it was pretty sad because You know, at one point in time, do you remember when I did the pre-tape where I kissed Stephanie? Well, let me tell you that story. So I'm supposed to get ready to kiss Stephanie. We're backstage, we're in the room, and guess who's directing it? Vince, okay? And I'm laying on the couch with Stephanie, and Vince comes in the room, and he pulls his chair all the way up to the couch and sits right next to the couch. He's 2 feet from me. He's like this. Let's do this pre-tape. I'm like, holy shit. I'm going to kiss his daughter, and this guy looks like he's going to get off on it. Oh, my God. Not saying Vince would, just saying. You know, it was kind of a weird situation. So I'm a little uncomfortable. I'm like, this is crazy, man. What am I doing here? And so I have to kiss Stephanie. I'm so nervous that I pucker up real tight. I don't open my mouth. I don't stick my tongue out. I keep it in because my boss is watching. And I kiss her really hard. And she says afterward, Kurt, that was the worst kiss I ever in my life. You kiss like a fish. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
My two other questions. I'm not going to harp on the love triangle the whole night, but when you found out you're going to do this love triangle with Stephanie and Triple H, were you up for it? Were you concerned? And also, did you know Triple H and Stephanie were really together at that point?
Did I know? Everybody knew Triple H and Stephanie were together at this particular time. I'd imagine, I think China was still in the company, but they were broken up, and Stephanie and Triple H were already together. That was already a done deal. What was the other question?
How did you feel when it got pitched to you? Were you concerned about doing it, or were you happy to do it?
You know what? When Vince McMahon tells you to do a top storyline in the company, you better be doing it. You better be on top of it, and you better be all in. If you're not, you might not get another chance. So I had to be.
And there was one SmackDown where China got involved on TV, and it kind of looked like there was maybe going to be something in the storyline. That must have been pretty awkward to have to do.
It was, you know, having China there momentarily. There was a bit of a pause, and I think everybody was a little uncomfortable, and they knew how Triple H and China and Stephanie were feeling.